Welcome back. More in our developing story that we're following, the debt ceiling showdown, as lawmakers are struggling to come to an agreement to raise the debt limit before the August 2nd deadline, or the U.S. government will run out of authority to borrow money. Joining us this morning with more on this debate is our congressman out of the East Bay in the 10th District, John Garamendi. Good morning, Congressman.
Good to be with you.
Thank you for being with us this morning. So a vote coming up today on Speaker Boehner's plan. How do you plan to vote?
I'm a definite no vote on it. That vote clearly will put Social Security and Medicare into the hole. It really will cause significant reductions in the benefits for our seniors, and I'm just not going to go there.
And Senator Reid saying that even if this does pass the House and makes its way to the Senate, that it's dead on arrival. The president saying he would veto this proposal if it made it to his desk. Why is the House even having a vote on this today?
Well, I think Mr. Boehner needs to prove to his Tea Party caucus that he's a tough guy and that he can do what needs to be done, at least to get a bill out of the House. But to get it to the president to become law, well, that's another matter, and he's clearly not able to do that with a bill that's just really very, very radical and, frankly, doesn't do a thing to create jobs and probably would lose about 700,000 jobs beginning in October of this year, and because it cuts back on federal money for contracts and highways and all sorts of other things.
And Senator Reid, with his own plan, is it possible that his plan could come to a vote too late to get us in before August 2nd?
Well, it's possible. We'll see what happens when it begins to move in the Senate. If there is an effort by the Republicans to invoke the parliamentary rule that you need 60 votes, then it could be real troublesome on that side. We'll see, but there is a fail-safe, and that's Amendment 14 of the U.S. Constitution. Section 4 of that amendment does allow the president, I believe, the authority to pay the bills. Because it says the American debt shall be honored, period.
Yeah, there is a lot of question about that as to whether or not the president has that authority or if it's simply the 14th Amendment providing that authority to Congress. But you believe the president does have the authority on his own to raise the debt ceiling?
Well, I think we need a fail-safe. I think it is unconscionable that the Republicans would manufacture a crisis that we didn't have to have. Surely we have to deal with the overall deficit. That's a long-term problem. We got to put people back to work. We got to create the jobs so people can pay their taxes. Those are things that we must do. But to use the debt ceiling as a lever to put in place policies that frankly do not put people to work but actually will cause them to lose jobs is wrong. But that's what the Republicans have done, and now we're on this course. So we need a fail-safe, and I believe the 14th Amendment is a fail-safe.
And we're one of very few industrialized nations that actually has a debt ceiling, a debt limit. Do you think even having one is a good idea?
No. I mean, this is not a perennial problem, but this issue arises from time to time. It really has done little to prevent deficits, annual deficit budgets. What we really need is what President Clinton did during the 1990s, and that is put in place reforms that actually will lead to a balanced budget. He did it when he was president. We need to do that again. We know how to do it, and frankly, that's the kind of balanced approach that President Obama has suggested we put in place, but has not been able to get traction, certainly not in the House of Representatives.
All right, so one last question for you, Representative. It does appear that Boehner's vote coming up today may pass the House, but will not pass the Senate. Will Senator Reid's plan, once it passes the Senate, does it have a chance of passing in the House?
I think it does. There's a likelihood that 180 or so Democrats will vote for it, and then we got to go round up 30 Republicans. At that point, we're going to be down to crunch time, and the only option after, if Reid's measure doesn't pass the Senate or doesn't pass the House, would be a proposal that many of us are putting together, which is a clean debt limit. That's just, okay, we're going to raise the debt limit and get on with dealing with putting people back to work and jobs and a balanced budget going forward. We'll see what happens. And, of course, there is the fail-safe that penultimately I think the president could invoke, which is the 14th Amendment.
All right, we'll see what happens. Everyone following what's happening, and we're all hoping that you get something done. Representative John Garamendi, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Justine.
All right, let's